Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to Game Week 12, and welcome to the run-in. We've got a lot of game weeks coming over the next few weeks. It's the best part of the season, I think. So many game weeks. We've got midweek games next week. Oh, it's just going to be brilliant. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Make sure, as always, you get your questions ahead of Game Week 12 in the chat, and I'll try and answer as many of you as I physically can. The chat does get quite busy sometimes, but I do try my best to answer all of your dilemmas before we stop streaming. We'll try and figure out some of the answers to my own dilemmas along the way as well. But hope you're all doing really well. Good to see a few of you in the chat. Hippie there, as always. Great to see you, mate. Michael, Wayne as well. Good to see you all. And as always, if you enjoyed today's show, if you could do me one little favour, if you could drop, well, I say one, it's two really, drop a like. But importantly, I think I'm 75 subscribers away from 5k. Now, I don't expect to hit that today because that would be a hell of a lot of subscribers to gain in a day. But if we can get there before Christmas, that would be amazing. And it would be even better to hit it on a live stream. So one of you could be the person. Anyway, enough of that for now, because that is boring and we don't want to talk about subscribers. We want to talk about FPL because that's why we're all here. Let's start off with the first of all of the questions. And as I'm going, do feel free to get some more in the chat as well, and I'll try and catch up to them. Wayne's asking, start Thiago or Timber? That's a good question to start, actually. In several of my different routes, and I've got 4 free transfers, by the way, nothing in the bank, but 4 free transfers. In many of my routes, Timber would be coming in, and in all of them, I had started Timber ahead of Thiago. Sorry, Thiago would be coming in many of them, but in all of them, I started Timber as a non-negotiable, was absolutely locked into my starting 11. Great attacking threat, good chance of a clean sheet against Spurs, home fixture. And of course, he would be my only Arsenal defender once I get rid of Gabriel, who is of course injured. Yeah, I'd be backing Timber personally, but if you can find a way to also start Thiago, also a great player for this week. I just have Timber ahead of him though. Which goes against my normal rule of always start the penalty takers, but I think there are exceptions to every rule. Get Bruno or Mbeumo, Michael asks. That is the question, isn't it? That is something I am really weighing up myself. I've narrowed it down, I think, to 3 routes. 2 of them include getting Mbeumo, and the other one includes getting Bruno, and it's all about who I bring in alongside in defence, actually, really, as my Gabriel replacement. So it's basically, do I get Bruno with someone cheaper like Lacroix, or do I go Mbeumo with Munoz or Van Dijk? So yeah, I'll go into those in a minute. I think I'm slightly preferring Bruno, but only very slightly. There's not much in it at all. Mbeumo's got the better open play goal threat. We all know that. But Bruno saves a transfer later on. We know he's getting 90 minutes all the way through Christmas. And he's got the other routes to points as well. He is more expensive though. So if money's no object, I think just about Bruno. But if you can do something better with that extra money, then Mbeumo might shade it because it's very small differences between the two. Okay, so Gabriel to Virgil van Dijk or Gabriel to Anderson and Semenyo to Bumo. Latter sets up more money for Game Week 13 as well. I don't mind Anderson, although I have to admit he's been quite a frustrating own in FPL. Fulham don't keep that many clean sheets, as it turns out. Although the defensive data has been really good for a couple of seasons now, they don't actually keep that many clean sheets. He's only hit over 4 points twice this season. That was Leeds and Wolves. So Sunderland, I mean, after this, it's Spurs, Man City, Crystal Palace. I don't know if I'd be buying him, personally. So I think I'd just keep it simple in your case and go for Gabriel to Virgil van Dijk. There's also a very good chance Semenyo plays, right? Like, we don't know that he's out. It's obviously a doubt. But I think like he is one of their most important players. I think if he's near fit, they try and play him. And even if he's not, he's probably only going to miss a week. So as long as you've got a decent first sub, I think you're probably okay. I would probably just do the less aggressive move and go for Virgil in your position. Gabriel to Van Dijk is locked in from Nixie. Considering Semenyo to Mbermo, even though I have got a strong first sub in Voltemada, but I feel it's an upgrade and we should get and we will get 5 free transfers soon. Would you do it or wait? If that's your only route to a do you have a Man United midfielder anyway? So do you have Bruno, basically, is the question. I don't know if I would force it this week. I think Semenyo against West Ham, unless we hear something ironclad that he's out, I'd probably hold on to him. And then, like you say, worst case scenario, you've got Voltemada coming off the bench, and he's a penalty-taking striker. We don't know if Gordon's going to be back and taking penalties off of him. So I think you're probably okay to just do the slightly less aggressive move there. And then, again, you can always make the move later. If we realise or find out that Semenyo's out for a while and we didn't know before this deadline, fine, you're a little worse off for this week, but you've got more information to make stronger moves next week. So yeah, I'd probably just do the single move. Aaron takes in the chat as well. Good to see you. We've got Dubravka or Pope, and also should I start Caicedo, Gakpo, or Semenyo? So Dubravka Pope is my first decision as well. I think I'm going. Am I going with Dubravka? Either way, I've got people up against people here, so I'm either going Dubravka against double Chelsea by the looks of it, or I'm going Pope against my captain Haaland. Just doesn't feel good. I think I'm very slightly favouring Dubravka at the moment, but there's not much in it. I think I'm going Dubravka right now, but don't hold it against me if I switch last minute out of a mad panic, because Newcastle are quite good at home. Would I be absolutely stunned if Pope pulled off something crazy? No. Maybe I would be more surprised if Burnley managed to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea. Although, actually, before I lock that decision in, let's have a look at Burnley at home this season. So let's look at the home fixtures. How many goals have they conceded in those home fixtures? So goals conceded here: 2 against Arsenal, fair enough. None against Leeds. No, not Man City. 1 against Nottingham Forest. 1 against Liverpool. None against Sunderland. So they've conceded more than 1 goal once this season at home, and they've played some good teams in there. Maybe it is Dubravka. Anyway, I don't expect either of them to keep a clean sheet, so we're probably deciding between 2 pointers, 1 pointers, 3 pointers. Like, there's not going to be much in it. So yeah, I'm going to start Dubravka, I think. Should I start Caicedo, Gakpo, or Semenyo? I think Gakpo, absolutely start. If you're starting 2 of them, well, I would definitely start Semenyo and Gakpo. Out of the 2, if you're picking 2 of 3, Gakpo and Semenyo. If you're picking 1 of 3, that's an incredibly strong team to be able to bench 1 of Gakpo or Semenyo this week. I wouldn't want to be benching either. Gakpo looks locked in to start on that left-hand side with Wirtz out this week. So I would say that's a very good player to own for this week in particular. And Semenyo, if he plays against West Ham, which I think he will, couldn't guarantee, but think he will, then again, he's arguably even an outside captaincy shout. So very good to own as well. Sorry, chat's sped up a bit. It always happens around now. After about 10 minutes, I start losing track. Should I do Semenyo to Bruno? Do you have nothing else better to do? If not, maybe Semenyo to Mbermo. I don't know what it is. To me, doesn't seem quite as powerful as Bruno. Maybe because it saves that extra transfer later on down the line. I have been all week trying to find a route that I like that incorporates Bruno without selling Semenyo. Put it that way. I don't want to sell Semenyo to get Bruno. I'm very reluctant to do that. So I think if you had no other way, no other route to get to Bruno other than Semenyo, I could probably get on board with it. But I would look around to see if there's another way to get to him. As you can tell, I'm quite a big Bruno fan. Okay, so Maggot in the chat. Hey mate, how's it going? Yeah, I have seen Vicky Park's got a pot run now. Did you see it got cancelled in its second week, I think, last week, which is very unfortunate. I'll be around your neck of the woods in Thatcham next week. Tomorrow morning before the deadline. I always go on a long run before the deadline to clear my thoughts. So I'm planning 16k, so do the big loop up round the top, down through the suburbs and past like the old bowling complex and all of that back home. So yeah, you might see me about. But yeah, I'll check out the Vicky Park run at some point soon. I do intend on giving that a go. Hope you're well though, mate. Wayne in the chat, Semenyo, start, bench, or sell. I would not be benching him. I think from Iraola's point of view, he will either be a player that he starts or likely doesn't play at all. So, I mean, there's never a guarantee there. Obviously, he could come off the bench. I just feel like it is relatively unlikely. So I would start him or sell him. I don't think benching is that wise an idea at home to West Ham. I'm keeping him. Put it that way. I'm keeping him. I think he'll play. If he doesn't, with the route that I'm planning, I would have a strong enough first sub to come on, and I can make peace with that. Frank in the chat as well. Same team as you, bar Sanchez instead of Pope. Also have 4 free transfers, but I still have bench boost and free hit. Good position to be in. What should I do? No money in the bank. Well, that is quite a difficult one. Bench boost, I would say, if you've got the exact same team as me, 4 free transfers, I would try and see if you can get bench boost done this week, if you can, because you've got better keepers than me for this week with Sanchez, so that's good. I'm looking. Let's bring it over to my team since your team is quite similar. So this is my current preferred route, which I don't have bench boost, so I'm downgrading to Mark Giu. So I would be selling Voltemada. I'll get the summary up here, actually. So Gabriel to Lacroix, Voltemada to Giu, Longstaff up to Bruno would be my routes. Now, obviously, I can't bench boost with that because, I've done my bench boost, but GU isn't really bench boostable. But you could probably find a route that incorporates a bench boost by basically downgrading. I mean, if you've got the same 15 as me, so Longstaff as well, you could bench boost with Longstaff, Rodon, Anderson, and Dubravka, and just basically get rid of Gabriel. I could get on board with that, just get it done. I think Semenyo will play. Enzo has obviously got a clean bill of health, though he should get minutes. So Semenyo is your only risk, but if you're really worried about Semenyo, then maybe move him across to an Mberma or a Bruno if you've got the money, and downgrade Gabriel if you're worried about it on a bench boost. I could get on board with that. But yeah, it sounds like bench boost this week. Free hit 13 might be well placed for you. You could also look 16, 17 potentially. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting them done consecutively now, to be honest. I think you're in a pretty good spot. Gakpo worth it if Vert's out only for a week. I think Gakpo, if you're free hitting this week, is fantastic. I'm not a massive fan of him long term because if Vert is only out for a week, there was a fake source going around saying he was out for 6 weeks, but it's basically a joke account, so I would ignore that. So I think Gakpo's good for this week, not ideal long term. And there's another thing on Gakpo which I think most people tend to overlook because he does have good underlying data, but Gakpo is awful on bonus points, like truly awful on bonus points, because he just takes so many shots with quite limited accuracy. He doesn't get bonus points almost ever. Like, in fact, this season, he's only got 2 so far, and that was against Newcastle when he got a couple of assists. Sorry, that's not right. Couple of assists. Yeah, there you go. 2 assists there. So he needed to pick up 2 returns to get any bonus, and he didn't even get maximum bonus in that one. He's got goals since then. He's picked up goals against Man United, Chelsea, no bonus in those. No bonus against Bournemouth when he picked up a goal. So it's limiting the upside for me. And the minutes are going to be a bit shaky in this period, 13 to 15, I think. So not for me personally. Like, the upside is there. He could haul. He could get a couple of returns in any of these games and make it worthwhile. But I think there are better midfielders at that sort of price and below. So not for me. Bench Konza or Anderson. Who do Villa have? Leeds. Konza. I'd bench Konza. But Anderson has good odds. Probably, let's check Solio for that quickly, actually. So Konza has 32% odds of a clean sheet. Fulham, 37. So already better. And Anderson has the home fixture and also better on the DEFCON. So I'd definitely be benching Konza instead of Anderson Holden. FPL North in the chat, give him love, everyone. He's one of my favourites, always giving me hype. So thank you very much. Do appreciate you as always. Who are your favourite 3 differentials this week? Gakpo would be one. I like Rodgers. You mentioned Rodgers there. Do I have a third? Who would be a good differential this week? Let's have a look at the fixtures quickly. I tell you what, if I knew Esteval was starting, I'd be all over that. That would be so good. Maybe Delap. Delap might be fun. Obviously a risk of a start, but Delap would be a lot of fun away at Burnley. Yeah, I'll chuck Delap in there. Who else? Is there anyone else? I mean, I've given 3, but I'm just kind of intrigued as to whether or not there's any I'm missing. Cunha. Not just for this week, but given he should be playing as the centre forward for a little while with Sesko out, not bad shout. Yeah, I'm quite happy with those. Always like Danny Welbeck as well. Maybe not that differential Danny Welbeck at this point. I do not have a Man United midfielder. Yeah, so maybe have a look at that as well. I'm also eyeing up a Man United midfielder this week, obviously. Bruno and Mbeumo both on the menu. Pricey, I'm on a free hit. What are my best options? I would definitely try to make sure you account for players like Salah in it, because that's your upside, right? Most people won't have Salah. So on a free hit, he would probably be my favourite captain as well this week, ahead of Haaland. So definitely try to include Salah. I'd almost be tempted to take on Haaland altogether and pack your midfield with like Salah, Saka, Fernandes, maybe Mbeumo in there as well. Like, just stack that midfield with as much firepower as you can. Go with strikers like Mateta alongside maybe even a João Pedro. Wouldn't mind a Thiago. Yeah, I think that the way to attack on a free hit this week is it's a big gamble. It could really backfire, but every free hit in the first half of the season can backfire. I would be tempted to take on Haaland altogether and use that money elsewhere. So yeah, I'd stack the midfield with as many big hitters, as much firepower as possible. Go a little bit cheaper in the forward line, take out Haaland, and then defensively, you probably are looking not too dissimilar to what I've got here. So add in a Van Dijk there as well. Timber, I'd keep an Arsenal defender in there, probably a Bournemouth defender at home to West Ham. Let's go back to the clean sheet odds. Maybe try and chuck a Chelsea defender in there if you can guarantee which one's going to start. Probably Sanchez, actually, because then you're safe. And I'd try and get maybe a Munoz in there as well. And then jobs are good. And hopefully that answers your question. Oh, sorry, the chat's bugging out again. One sec. Kieran's in the chat. Hey, mate, how's it going? Make sure you do go check out Kieran on X as well. Some great stuff there. Double Pivot as well. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Will Saliba replace Gabriel on corners? I don't think it'll be a direct, like, he's as good as. Sorry, I'll go back to my team there. I don't think it'll be quite as good, but I think he will probably become the direction of travel. I think he will be the player that they aim for more often than not. So I think it was last season they went through a little patch where Gabriel was out and Saliba became the target man on the set pieces. I can see that happening again, absolutely. But don't overlook Gabriel's replacement. If it's Mosquera, he might become a bit of a target. So I don't think it's as simple as it will be Saliba taking all of that underlying attacking data that Gabriel had from set pieces, but he will probably improve on it. So yeah, I don't mind it. But obviously he doesn't have the DEFCON that Gabriel has. Although, will he get a bit more of that with Gabriel out? Arguably, it's possible. Maybe missed a couple of messages there. Sorry, the chat's moving quite quickly. So if I've missed your message, do chuck it back in as well. Sorry to set you on the spot, but why does all the content creators like Bruno so much? Yeah, okay, so a good opportunity because I'm weighing up this decision myself. And also, not to go on a bit of a crusade on this one at all, but it does like bug me a little bit when people say like all content creators are like as if we're like all like one homogenous blob of people. Like we all do think differently. I think the reason content creators tend to veer towards Bruno rather than Mbermo is because he's such a guarantee. Like he's just got so many different routes to points that over a season you can almost guarantee the fact he'll be in the top 4 or 5 midfielders, point scorers. As long as he keeps the penalties, I think that remains the case. The addition of DEFCON also massively benefits him. Someone like an Mbermo just won't be hitting them almost ever. Like, he might hit it like once or twice a season, but pretty much never. Whereas Bruno gets, 40% of the games, gets that extra 2 points. And he's still got some creative threat and goal threat. It's not like that's all just disappeared. He still does tick along quite nicely. I mean, what's it so far this season? 5 attacking returns in 11 game weeks, I think? Yeah, so 2 goals, 3 assists. I won't harp on about the 2 penalty misses, but it could be 7 attacking returns if he didn't miss those. Obviously, he did, so that's a thing. But he's not even been in sensational form recently. Like, you've got 3 assists in the last 4 game weeks, but in those game weeks you've got 8, 4, 5, 5, which is perfectly great. Like I would absolutely take a midfielder averaging about that over a season. That's why it's security. It's just safety. You never need to transfer him out. There's never a bad week to play him. If Mbermo didn't have AFCON coming up, I think I'd be tempted to take him on because Mbermo's upside is he's got more goal threat, open play anyway, and I think therefore you can expect the odd haul. And in a short period of fixtures, you might be able to like take out overtake a Bruno by getting a couple of hauls, which is perfectly possible for Mbermo. There's not much in it anyway, but I think the reason you probably see Bruno in a lot of content creators thinking is because he is just that safety net. He is that guarantee of steady points, and he will get the odd haul as well. I think it was it Leicester last season? He just absolutely exploded. He's got that in him as well. And although he's not a sexy pick, he will just tick along and get at 5 to 6 points a week on average every single week across a season. That's 200 plus, which is very, very healthy. And it does save a transfer in game week 15, 16 whenever Mbermo goes away. So I can't speak like no one content creator, YouTuber, whatever should speak on behalf of all of the others. We all have our own independent reasons for liking certain players, and you will absolutely find some content creators that prefer Mbermo or just go with neither of them. I like my different routes to points. Especially during Christmas, and this is the thing I forgot. Especially during Christmas, you want those guarantee of minutes. You don't want people that you're looking at the team sheet. And Mbermo isn't that. You can guarantee he's going to start, but only until game week 15, 16, by which point you're going to want to hop on Bruno anyway. So it just saves that transfer, and you know that he's going to start. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, I can't speak on behalf of all content creators, unfortunately. And I'm sure there are loads out there going with other routes. And I haven't locked in either yet, to be fair. I am still weighing it up. Thinking of a back, is Semenyo good for the next couple of weeks? I mean, there's that injury doubt this week. It looks like a minor thing. There's a risk. I think I'm gonna keep him unless we hear anything definitive as a leak before the deadline. But it doesn't sound like that's coming. It sounds like he's fairly likely to play. But I've in my plan anyway. Let's go back to here. In my plan, I've got a good first sub with Anderson on my bench. So, and arguably that could be Senesi, that could be Pedro, that could be Lacroix. Pick one would be my first sub. So if Semenyo does miss out, I'm fairly happy. Or comfortable anyway, and I think he'll be back for next week, in which they've got... Who is it they've got next week? Sunderland away, which is fine, and then Everton at home. So I don't want to sell him. I'm thinking a back four of Timber, Van Dijk, Senesi, Richards with a midfield three of Mbeumo, Sarr, Gakpo, as you recommended. That's why I can only start one, unless you recommend I also do a back three for Semenyo. I would... yeah, I probably would. I would probably... It's hard to say which of Senesi or Richards I would bench, but I'd probably bench one of them ahead of Semenyo. Like I would, again, not to be someone looking at models or anything, and obviously you can tweak Solio to your will, but just as an example, Semenyo expected north of most of, if not all of the defenders. I think Anderson's 4.5. Is that this week? I think that's this week. Richards, I think, is down at like 4 point something. What have I done? Yeah, 4.5. I'd be starting Semenyo ahead of them, personally. So yeah, I'd go with a 3-4-3 in your situation. Have no transfers, want to free hit next week. Could I wait to transfer Gabriel in game week 14, or should I take a -4? He will lose a lot of value. He will lose some value, yeah. But what I would say is game week 14 is only a couple of days after game week 13, so you could move pretty quickly after the game week 13 deadline if you wanted to, and obviously you'll lose value this week. But he'll only go down 0.2, 0.3. You can't go down more than 0.3, by the way, in any given game week. So the most you're going to lose is 0.3, which, if you've got value accrued in him, is going to be half of that. So like my selling value on Gabriel right now is 6.4. If he went down by 0.1, then my selling value is 6.3 until he goes down to all the way by another 0.2. So I don't think it's worth a -4. I think if you could do it for free, I'd do it, but I don't think it's worth a -4 if you like the look of your team this week without making that transfer. If the -4 makes your team look significantly better this week, then maybe I could get on board with it. But if you're happy enough with your 11 and whoever you're benching or not benching because Gabriel is injured is now starting, and you're happy with that, then I think you're fine. Yeah, Adrian in the chat, plays 90 minutes, DEFCON penalties, goals, assists, 8.9 million. I didn't say the name, but we all know who we're talking about. Yeah, what more do you want? Exactly. Can you please make a free hit team for game week 13? Me and a lot of other users are definitely planning on using it. I will do a video for free hit 13. Yeah, absolutely. I will do it. I won't do it on the stream now, but I'll give it some proper thought and create a draft in a separate specific video between game week 12 and game week 13. So yeah, rest assured, I'll get that one done for you. And I've also got a bit of a slot. I don't know if I can announce it. I am going to announce it because I'm pretty sure it will happen. But I have my first ever guest on my channel next week. So I will actually have 2 people on my show. At least once. We're going to do a game week preview together with a few other bits and bobs. We've got some like special subjects that we want to go through. Should be really good. Tight 45 minutes with one of the very best people I could have possibly hoped to have on the channel as well. I'm super, super excited to have him on. So little hint there, it is a him. But I won't give away who it is just yet. You can guess in the chat if you want. But it is a big name in the community. I'm sure you'll all know who it is. And yeah, I'm just delighted to do something with someone else. So yeah, hopefully you'll all enjoy that. And yeah, fingers crossed that does happen as planned. I think we're filming it Monday night, out Tuesday morning. So yeah, fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, I think it should be really good fun. But yeah, I'm not going to reveal it on this chat now. Anyway, I keep you all in suspense. And if it does well, I'll get more guests on as well. So yeah, if you could support that, that would be great, and I'll get more on in the future. So back to the question, sorry. So play Calafiori with a bench of Stack, Reinders, and Bijol, or get a midfielder for 7.5 million. Wildcard in 14 or 15 with free hit in 13. This is getting quite complicated. Gabriel would go to Richards or Virgil and to use one or two. Okay, that is a lot. So play if you're not taking a hit, I would get the midfielder for 7.5 million this week. Yeah, sorry, I might. Could you possibly rephrase that? I just got a little bit confused. But yeah, sorry. Could you rephrase that a little bit? I want to answer your question, but I'm a little bit confused by that one. Yeah, Nixie, I want more open play goal threat from Bruno. I get it, but points are points, right? Like at the end of the day, I don't remember 3 seasons ago, or even last season, even last week, to be honest, sometimes, how the points were scored. I don't care how the points were scored. I just care that the points were scored. So as long as the points come in, regardless, I don't care whether it's DEFCON, whether it's clean sheet points, whether it's a mixture of a bonus point plus a couple of DEFCON plus a clean sheet and he gets no attack returns. As long as the points come in, I don't care if he gets 38 penalties this season, as long as he scores them. It doesn't matter. It is more exciting getting an open play goal, but they count the same as a penalty goal or a goal from a set piece or something. Yeah, I'm not too bothered how they come in. Few good guesses in the chat. I'm not going to reveal anything at the moment. There are people that you are mentioning that I will invite on in the future, and who knows, maybe one of them is my first guest as well, but I'm not going to reveal anything just yet. But yeah, they would all be great guests. Ross, Focal as well, Raptor, Focal. I reckon if I ask nicely, I could get them on someday. Yeah, Nightmare as well. Definitely someone I'd want on the channel. Yeah, there's loads. But yeah, not going to reveal who just yet. Hi, I did Gabriel, Semenyo, and Reinders to Munoz, Rice, and Bruno Guimaraes. I actually quite like Bruno Guimaraes, to be fair. That's a bit of a differential one. Not one that jumps off the page, but he has made it into a couple of like outside thinking around about game week. I think it's game week 16 or 17 for me, as like an option as a SAR replacement. So yeah, I mean, Reinders, absolute sell. Gabriel, absolute sell. Obviously, you've had to, I guess, sell Semenyo to make that all work. So I think that's fine. Munoz is a great pick. Rice will tick along really nicely, I'm sure. Get good minutes through this period on set pieces. Takes a hell of a corner. And Bruno Guimaraes is a bit of an outside one. Not one that really came into my consideration for this week with Man City, but he will do well over the next period, I'm sure. Do I have enough bench cover, or should I risk playing Calafiori? Sorry. So right. So Reinders to another midfielder would be the plan. Depends on who I transfer Gabriel to, on how much money I'll have. Got ya. Do you risk playing Calafiori? I think you probably do risk playing Calafiori, and then sell. If you've got 2 free transfers, I'd be selling Reinders and Gabriel for sure. I can't remember how many free transfers you've got. I think it was 2. In which case, I would look at maybe like a Minter for Reinders, and Gabriel could go down to any number of people. Van Dijk could be Timber. Although you've got Calafiori, I might not double up on those 2 because one of them will probably get rotated at some point. Munoz if you don't have Munoz. Lacroix if you need the money. Hopefully that gives you a few options. I'd do Reinders to Minter and then Gabriel down to maybe just keep it simple with Van Dijk. I think that would give you the money to do those moves and would secure you a little bit as well with the 15. Would you roll this team? Sanchez, Senesi, Richards, Virgil, Saka, Semenyo, Sar, Enzo, Jao, Pedro, Mateta, Haaland. have King of Fulham, Leeds defender on the bench. I think a Leeds defender at home to Villa is not terrible this week, so it's decent bench cover. I would probably roll that. I think you're pretty okay. I mean, you're missing a Man United midfielder, but I don't think if you don't have the free transfers to do it easily, I don't think it's a must. You've got a good 11 there. So I don't think you need to panic about making any urgent transfers by the looks of it. I'm currently having to start Fulham's Anderson over Reinders. Should I upgrade to Minter and play him instead? Anderson's fine to start this week. I wouldn't force it. Anderson, home to Sunderland, good on DEFCON, good chance of a clean sheet. I think it's fine. I don't think you need to force it. Minter's a great option as well, by the way. If you're really keen on Minter, very playable this week. There's not much in it between those two, I don't think, for which one I'd prefer to start this week. I need to set this up correctly next time. But yeah, Minter looks pretty good, I think, this week. Let me try and find him. Yeah, 4.2. Again, it's just a projection, but it's good shorthand to see whether or not he's in the same sort of realm as Anderson. I don't think he's a priority to desperately buy this week just to bench Anderson. I think Anderson's fine. Do people buy Szoboszlai this week? Not for me. It's the 4 yellows, which at some point in the next few weeks, you've got to think that he hits that threshold and misses a game, which is kind of a bit of a deal breaker for me. Obviously, great on the minutes. He'll get DEFCON if he plays right back, which it looks likely that he's in contention to play right back with Bradley and Frimpong out for 3 weeks, or at least 3 weeks. So I don't mind necessarily which position he'll play in, whether it's right back or centre mid, because he's still on some set pieces, although Salah did take some of the corners last week or 2 weeks ago, so he might have lost some, but he's on some free kicks, he's on some corners. At right back, he's good at DEFCON. In centre mid or cam, he's quite good with attacking threats. So he's an okay pick, but it's the 4 yellows that puts me off a little bit. If he gets his 5th yellow this week, misses the next week, then I might look at him afterwards, but not yet. I think there are better midfielders right now. Gordon to Gakpo and hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, Gakpo's very good for this week. I probably wouldn't prioritize him for long term, but you could take a punt on it. I don't mind it. I think Gordon replacements, I think I would prioritise others ahead of Gakpo, but if you like Gakpo, don't let me put you off of him. What do you think about changing Burn to Mukiele, Semenyo to Saka? These are my future plans before the AFCON transfers come through. Thinking of changing Pope long term as well. I think Pope can be held. I probably wouldn't have double Newcastle defence, so I think getting rid of Burn or Pope, one of the two, is fine. Mukiele, Sunderland don't have great fixtures coming, but Semenyo to Saka makes sense. I couldn't really fault that. Saka is just an upgrade on Semenyo, so I think that's fine. Pricey, I feel ashamed. I went early on Gabriel, now he's injured. Yeah, look, these things happen. It is unfortunate. I've made early transfers before and they blow up in my face. It can happen, so no judgment here. We've all made early transfers that have blown up before, so do not worry. These things can happen. And also, Gabriel's got a pretty good injury track record, so it was always unlikely he was going to get injured. So yeah, I do feel sympathy. That is quite unlucky. But yeah, unfortunately, he's going to be out for a while, isn't he? So he will have to be a sell. But yeah, that is unlucky. My heart goes out to you. Would you start Senesi or Richards? Have Petrovic in goal? I think because you've got Petrovic in goal, yeah, I'd probably go with Richards. Although I don't mind doubling up on the Bournemouth defence against West Ham, but Bowen against that high press, I can see them conceding. Richards. Crystal Palace is a tactical thing here. In Crystal Palace's defensive ownership is very high. So are you willing to double up against West Ham for Bournemouth and go completely against Crystal Palace defence against Wolves, who have been really poor going forwards, I think I'd spread my risk there and go with Richards over Senesi. Both good on DEFCON as well, so not much in it there. Nixie, Bradley is out. He's out for at least 22 days, apparently, which is a very specific and weird timeline from Slot. But yeah, I think he basically meant the next 3 weeks of fixtures. So yeah, he's out for a little while. A 1-game ban isn't really a big deal. That's what our bench is for. Yeah, I do agree with that, James. I do agree with that. It is what the bench is for. A lot of us do have at least 1 or 2 good bench players. So it is about how robust your team is. What I would say though is I've planned it that way before and thought, yeah, okay, if a ban comes, it'll be fine. And then it's landed on a week where my bench might have not got the best fixtures and it's just a little bit inconvenient. And he gets the ban in a week where he had the best fixture. So let's say you pick him up now, gets the 5th yellow and is banned for next week when they've got a great fixture against West Ham. That would be a bit of a kicker. Like, that would be annoying. And I know it's what benches are for, but like, you're missing out on his best fixture potentially. But yeah, you might be leaving points on the table if you don't go for him now. I just, if he was a jump off the page, great value pick that is way above any other midfielder aside from the ban, I would just probably take the idea of a 5th yellow on the chin and just be like, you know what, it could happen. I'll take the risk. Fine. He's good enough that I don't mind. But because he's sort of level with a lot of the other 6.5 million, 6 million options, in my mind anyway, I think the 5th yellow potential is enough to put me off. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But I think he's near enough the others that if he didn't have the 5th yellow coming up, I'd probably be more tempted to go there. But because he does, it just puts me off ever so slightly. And it's just one little mark against him that puts him slightly beneath the other options for me right now. Nixie asks, what am I looking to do with my transfers for the next few weeks? Good question. And I haven't talked about my moves. I've got 3 different routes. They're quite simple, really. I've narrowed it down to the 3 players I'm going to sell are probably going to be Gabriel, Voltimada, Longstaff. I'll switch to a 3-5-2, and it gives me 2 solid bench defenders every single week. GU is obviously just a dead spot, last on my bench, not going to use him. So that's fine. So my first idea is to bring in Fernandez alongside GU and bring in Lacroix so I can afford Fernandez. That gives me 0.5 in the bank. If I do it this way, so I go Fernandez over an Mbermo, means I have to have a slightly cheaper defender. I can't go for Van Dijk this week. Can't quite afford Munoz, which is a bit annoying. But I think Lacroix does well. And I also think Gahey could be an option here as well. Could also do well. Don't mind that. Next week, I'm using my 2 free transfers because I only used 3 of my 4 this week. Next week, I probably look at bringing in Thiago and Minter for my 2 Chelsea boys who go up against Arsenal. I don't think there'll be too many complaints about that. And this, I think this is a good looking side. I'll be going up against a lot of free hit sides. So, obviously not ideal, but I really like this side. I think I'm happy enough with it. Decent bench cover with Spurs away for Anderson. So if anything comes up, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think pretty comfortable overall. And then game week 14 would be the week where I can finally get Virgil van Dijk. And because I've got loads of money in the bank from my moves in 13, I've got still extra 0.5 to get to Virgil in game week 14, where he's got Sunderland, and then still a great run of fixtures yet to come. So I still think he's worth picking up. So that would be my plan. After that, game week 15, I'd need to get rid of Sarr, or 16. I could wait till 16, but basically I've got 1 free transfer that I need to use in game week 15 because I get loaded up to, well, we all get loaded up to 5 and 16. In 16, I currently don't have anything I really want to do with my team. I'm sure when we get here, I'll have stuff to do. I'll have 1.8 in the bank. I might look at upgrading Pope to Raya, might look at Minter, although I do like some of his fixtures still yet to come. So possibly look at maybe upgrading someone on my bench so I've got cover and can bench someone like a Minter. But yeah, I mean, the next 3 weeks are the ones that I've kind of planned for. After that, it gets a bit more freestyle. But yeah, that's plan number one with Bruno. The other two plans are very similar. I'll quickly show you one of the two, not both of them, because it will get a bit boring. But yeah, the other plan would be Mbeumo instead of Bruno, and that allows me to afford either a Munoz or a Van Dijk. I think I'm currently swaying towards the Crystal Palace defender, a Munoz or a Lacroix over Van Dijk this week. I do like Van Dijk this week a lot, but I've just got a feeling that Munoz, I just really like Munoz, basically. And although I do want Van Dijk over the next two, I think Crystal Palace defence can probably match Liverpool over the next two. And Liverpool do have a lot of defensive issues right now. Crystal Palace have been solid at the back. Munoz has got a lot of attacking threat. So if I went with this route, I'd have to go without Bruno, go with Mbeumo for a few weeks. I've got a plan to get to Bruno later on, I'll show you. But Munoz or Van Dijk in that other position. Next week, same transfers, Minter and Thiago in for the Chelsea boys. And then game week 14, it would be whichever of Munoz or Van Dijk I didn't go for would come in replacement for Rodon. I will likely get priced out of that if I'm not careful. So I might have to act quick. Or I could just sell Anderson for Van Dijk instead. And then I've got plenty of money. I'd have like another 0.5 spare to do that. Then again, moving forwards, Sarr would have to go in game week 15 or 16, and Mbeumo would have to go around then as well. But I'd downgrade Sarr to then upgrade Mbeumo to Bruno. So I can get to Bruno and just have a bit of a shorter time frame on Mbeumo. So yeah, let me know what you prefer, by the way. Yeah, Nixie says, can I get Mbeumo and Munoz instead of Bruno and Lacroix? Hopefully that's just answered it. Yeah, that's basically what I'm weighing up now. It's, do I go Mbeumo and Munoz, exciting, attacking, lots of attacking threat there, or do I go slightly more boring, Defcons, less open play threat, but yeah, more sustainable with Lacroix and Bruno? That's my 50-50 now, I think. Hopefully that answers your question. Got a first super chat of the day. Thank you so much from CMAC. Top content. I'm Natalie Imbruglia, torn between, very good, between which two to bench amongst Voltemada, Semenyo, and Di Richards. What would you do? I would definitely bench Voltemada ahead. So you're benching two, sorry. So, I'd definitely bench Voltemada out of that pack of players. And then, who have Everton got? Everton have got Man United, but you've got penalty take there. I'm definitely starting Semenyo there because I do have a feeling he either starts or doesn't play at all. Obviously, there is a risk there, but I think the upside is worth it. So, yeah, I will apologise if that blows up in my face and Semenyo gets benched and comes on for 10 minutes at the end. But given you've got a lot of bench strength there, whichever situation, I'd definitely start Semenyo. If he doesn't play, you've got a good cover. And then I'd probably start Ndiaye Richards. Ndiaye on penalties will get 90 minutes away at Man United, who are conceding a lot of goals. Or Richards, Defcon, good chance of a clean sheet. I think back the penalty taker. He also gets the odd Defcon as well, actually, you know. Maybe I might be tempted to start Ndiaye ahead of Richards very, very slightly. But yeah, definitely Semenyo start, Voltemada bench, and then it's close between Ndiaye and Richards. But I think I'm going to go with Ndiaye to start on a gut feeling. But thank you very much for the super chat. I massively appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. I don't get loads of them, so yeah, really, truly, thank you. I'll spend that on a pint or something in the next couple of days. Sorry if I've missed any chats there. If I do miss or skim over, feel free to drop them in again. I do try and get across to all of them. Pricey, I think Cunha is better to go now than Mbeumo. Besides lack of AFCON and cheaper, he is likely to play 9 in the absence of Sesko as well. Yeah, I do like Cunha. I do really like Cunha. The attacking threat's not been great so far this season, but now is a good time to be jumping on. Good fixtures, won't go to AFCON, should get really good minutes in a centre forward role. I do like it. I do like it, and cheaper than Burmo. Yeah, I do really like him. I think I do still prefer Burmo slightly, but fortune favors the brave, doesn't it? So Cunha could be a really savvy pickup now. Like you could look really smart in a few game weeks time when he's the one who's been hauling for a few weeks, and everyone's gone with the wrong two Man United midfielders, which I am likely to do myself. But yeah, I do agree he's been overlooked a little bit, and I think he will do really well. Have a good day, brother. I'll be looking forward to that free hit video and the future collabs. I appreciate the help every week. Thank you so much, Aaron. I really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you for tuning in as always. Good luck this week. And yeah, I'll get that free hit video done as quickly as I can. And I'll try and put a lot of thought into it for you. But yeah, good luck on that. Bench Richards and Ndiaye if I was you. Voltemada is going to bang. Interesting. I mean, Voltemada could do well against Man City. I'm dismissing it because I'm selling him, but he could absolutely score. He's been brilliant. Like, he really has been brilliant. So he's not an easy bench by any means. I think for me, that like if I'm applying logic to it, I don't love the patch of fixtures, and if Wissa comes back fairly soon, I wonder about minutes. He did get brought off a bit early, 45 minutes a couple of weeks ago against West Ham, didn't he? And Newcastle haven't been firing. Voltemada doesn't have a high shot count. So those are my reasons for getting rid of him or benching him myself this week. But that's not to say he can't do really well, because he can. Like, he's a good forward. He's obviously done really well since joining Newcastle. He looks fantastic, but I think there are other fantastic forwards as well. But yeah, he could of course do very well, as could most players who have penalties. Who is more nailed on, Timber or Calafiori? I would say Timber is more nailed on. Do I think he'll play every single game? Probably not, but I think he is more nailed than Calafiori. Calafiori does tend to get brought off a bit earlier, more often than not, and I would say the replacements for Calafiori are closer to him in skill level or preference from Arteta than Timber's replacements are. I think White is a bit more of a drop-off in Arteta's mind anyway than someone like a Lewis Skelly is on the other side for Calafiori. So if I had to guess, I'd say Timber is the slightly more nailed. Does Cunha start up front? I think so. There is a chance they play with a false nine, but I think it's quite likely he starts up front. Xerxes could also, Xerxes could also play. I'm just checking to see if he's fit. I think he might. I saw rumors that he might be okay, so he could play up front again as a bit of a false nine. But I would be surprised if Cunha didn't. I'd back Cunha to probably play up front. Either way, he'll definitely play, so that's always a good start in that advanced central midfield role at the worst, and at best he could be playing out of position as a striker, so it could be really good. Would you punt Marino for a week? What's your favourite cheap midfielder as a punt for game week 12 only? I probably wouldn't punt Marino. Arteta was pretty coy on injuries and returners, so we don't know on Gyökeres right now. So I couldn't guarantee you that Marino definitely starts up top. So yeah, I wouldn't be massively confident on Marino. I do like Minter this week for a cheap midfielder. Other cheap midfielders, who would I be looking at? Maybe a Tavernier at home to West Ham might be quite fun. Esteval if you think he starts. Always a risk though. Is Garnacho okay? I think he's 6.4. Garnacho maybe away at Burnley could be interesting. There's always rotation worries with Chelsea. That's the problem because they've just got so many options. But yeah. Hopefully, I think one of those. Maybe Rodgers away at Leeds, although Leeds at home are a bit of a different beast, aren't they? Thoughts on Chow? Not for this week, of course. Yeah, I think he's good. His minutes have been very good, right, recently? Yeah, 90s all the way through. They've been tracking him for quite a while. 4.9 million, too, cheaper than I thought. Yeah, I like him. After this week's out of the way, I think decent. Yeah, absolutely. The minutes have been really, really good. He looks like he's their new favoured centre back. So yeah, I do like it. If you're to bring Bruno for Enzo, if you were to bring in Bruno for Enzo or Semenyo, who would it be? Something I was weighing up all week, and that's why I've decided to find a weird combination that involves keeping both of them. I think Semenyo's the better long-term hold. And although there's the doubt this week, I think Semenyo is someone I'd want to hold on to for a bit longer. Whereas Enzo, it's not too long before Palmer's back. Enzo's got Arsenal, Leeds, then Bournemouth in the busy week where they've got 3 back-to-back. I think he loses minutes in game week 14 and possibly game week 12 as well to get him ready for Barca, which is between Burnley and Arsenal. And then I wouldn't be surprised if he loses some minutes in Leeds against Leeds away as well. Whereas Semenyo, doubt for this week. Who knows? Maybe Iraola's lying and he's more of a problem than we think, but it doesn't sound like it's a major issue. And I would be much more confident he plays or like gets 90 in all 3 of these. Has penalty share with Cliver out. Well, has penalties with Cliver out, we think. I think I'd try and hold on to Semenyo and sell Enzo. This week it could punish you. Like, I don't love selling Enzo this week, given that we know he's fit. But I think Bruno's better to have this week than Enzo is. So yeah, I'd probably commit to that. Xerxes is terrible. Punt on Mount for challenge. Neither good options, are they? I mean, I do like Mount as a player. I wish him all the best and stuff, but not a good FPL option, I don't think. Saying that, now he'll probably go score a hat-trick. I did own him for a hat-trick a few seasons ago. I think it was against Norwich, which was absolutely class. That was the week everyone went with Havertz, which was one of my best all-time FPL memories. Krupi or Juve, first bench with Semenyo looking doubtful. Do we think Krupi's minutes have a chance of going up with Semenyo out? Possibly. Not really a direct like-for-like replacement. Krupi will tend to play through the centre rather than on the wings like Semenyo. But maybe there's a knock-on. Juve, did he get benched recently? I feel like he did. No, he didn't. I'm lying. I'm completely lying. I'd probably still have Juve as first sub ahead of Krupi, to be honest, because I think Evanilson will start and Krupi benched. Buendia, yeah, good shout, Buendia, actually. Buendia's been really good recently. I saw a friend of mine, FPL Pickle. You should definitely go check out her channel. She's a brilliant FPL manager. Do go check out her YouTube channel. She's been hyping up Buendia. She's an Aston Villa fan as well. So if he's good enough for her, I get it. I mean, minutes very doubtful. Let's be fair here, but he's been good. He's been one of their better attackers recently. For a 1 week punt against Leeds, I'd be surprised if he didn't start. Put it that way. And he's only 5.3 million. Long term, no. Short term, yeah, all right. I could get on board with it. Why isn't Esteval nailed? He's so good. I mean, I agree. Esteval is potentially world class. I really, really like him. He, like, in a Brazil shirt as well. I think it was on like Brazil local media or something like that. They did a poll on who the most important Brazilian like male national team player is right now. And it was like 82% Esteval over like players like Rafinha and all sorts. It was Esteval that they were loving. He just absolutely class. It won't be long. I think with Maresca, he's just slowly integrating him. They don't want to like put the weight of the world on his shoulders immediately and burn him into the ground, which is fair. But long term, I think this guy could be a serious FPL pick one day. Like maybe even this season, he could be a real pick. I mean, in very limited minutes. Assist, goal in 15, 12, 26. I mean, he's picked up 4 attacking returns this season already. The data, look at the data, 0.95 XGI per 90. Maresca, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are, of course you're watching me. start this boy. I mean, honestly, he's ridiculous. What a player. Yeah, so agreed, basically. How many points will Saka earn this week? I mean, if chat, anyone? Anyone want to have a guess? No, who knows? Who knows? If I had to guess, I would optimistically say let's try and work it out. Let's do the maths. So 2 points for the appearances. I think clean sheet. So 3 points. Let's give him a goal. 8. Bonus. I'm gonna say 11 points. That's optimistic though. I think the models and like if you're being fair about it, probably somewhere about 6 to 7 on average. But I've got him, so I'm gonna go optimistic. Let's say north of 10. Let's say just north of 10. That would be nice. Do you prefer Leeds in game week 13 or West Ham in 17 to triple captain Haaland? I would say attack. There's not much in it, and therefore attack the one that's sooner, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. Like game week 17 is a decent way away. It does fall pretty nicely for Man City's fixtures, so Haaland should play and get good minutes in that game. But you just never know. Like by that point, who knows? Haaland could get injured. In game week 13, if you get there and he's fit, I would probably attack it. I'd probably go after it, because they're only going to bring him off once the game is done, right? So I think it might be an unpopular opinion, but Leeds away from home are not a great defence. At home, they've been decent, but not away from home. And I think I'd attack the fixture that you've got the guarantee of fitness for. So yeah, I'd go Leeds. Buendia is a huge minutes risk. Yeah, tell me about it. But does well with his time on the pitch. Yeah, he does. He's an effective player. Like I said, FPL Pickle is a big fan. It looks. I think she included him on a wildcard this week as an outside shout. But yeah, for me going into this period, I only go after the more nailed players. So Buendia won't be a factor for me. Focal's in the chat. Good to see you, Oscar. How you doing? Good time, and I'm sure he hasn't done this just so I mention it, but a good time to mention that he has given me exclusive access to premium on his app for a full month, and the code, if you guys wanted it, is down below in the description as well. You get a full free month from the day that you join. And so if you join right now, you get to the 21st of December. You can cancel at any time. There's no commitment. And genuinely, it is pretty amazing. I'm sure most of you have had a go at it on the free version before. I use the paid version. It is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I couldn't recommend it higher. Do give it a crack if you can. And you won't find this discount, I'd say discount, freebie, anywhere else. I'm the only channel that has it, which is, again, very generous. I don't know why you picked me. But yeah, thank you very much for doing so, Oscar. And yeah, if you guys want to check it out, let me know how you get along with it. Live DEFCON is just so essential during a game week. I absolutely love it. Live bonus points, live rank. In the prep to the game week, it's very, very good as well. It's even got like real life footballers, FPL teams like locked and loaded into the app. So it is quite special. I don't know how much money he's put into actually making this. I've always wanted to create an app someday. Not one to compete with you, Oscar, but I've always wanted to design an app. Mainly on like gym progress or something like that. Very off topic. But I always was put off by how much it would cost. So yeah, let me know how much it, like, maybe not in the group chat, but let me know how much it would set me back to create something like that. Anyway, thank you very much, Oscar. You did ask a question, so I will answer it. I've narrowed it down to 3 options, but they're all very similar. My options are basically Bruno. I almost certainly be selling Gabriel Voltemada Longstaff. So I'm not going to sell Semenyo, I don't think, or Enzo, now that he's got a clean bill of health. And so yeah, I'll sell Gabriel Voltemada Longstaff for a Man United midfielder, Mark Giu, to make the funds up, and then Gabriel to either Lacroix in this instance, because I need the funds, Or I could do Mbermo instead of Bruno, and I could have either Munoz or Van Dijk. With this plan, which I think is currently my preferred because it saves me transfers later on and you've got the security of minutes. Next week, a double move to get rid of my Chelsea boys. So João Pedro and Enzo go to Thiago Minter. Obviously, other routes are available, but that's my preferred right now. And then in game week 14, it would be bringing in Virgil van Dijk for Rodon. And I've got plenty of money to do so. So that I basically get to Van Dijk a couple of weeks later than most people, but I still get him ahead of most of the good run. And it means that I'm not going up against Crystal Palace defence in the next 2 weeks, which I'm quite scared of doing. And it gives me Bruno, which I do really want. So yeah, let me know, Oscar, what you think of that. Hopefully that's okay. I remember what you mentioned to me the other day about selling Semenyo. I am considering it, but I think this opportunity has kind of fallen in my lap now a little bit, and only using 3 free transfers and then removing the double Chelsea next week, now that we know Enzo is fit, seems quite appealing to me too. But yeah, let me know whether you guys prefer Mbermo and a Munoz or a Van Dijk, or a Bruno with a Lacroix. I think I'm slightly veering towards Bruno Lacroix. Very slightly. Is it better than FootMob for DEFCON updates? Well, I'll tell you this. FPL Focal's app is the only one that I know of that will literally just have the threshold like right there in front of you straight away. With every other app, I use SofaScore sometimes for like live scores, and you can work out the DEFCON from it, but you have to like basically tally them all up. It's like, oh, how many recoveries, how many clearances, all of that. And Oscars will just do all of the maths for you. It's like right there. Have they hit the threshold? Yes, tick, done. Like it is almost instantaneous, as is the live rank, as is the bonus points. I mean, look, you can get it for free down below. Have a go yourself and see what you think. And there's no obligation. So yeah, let me know how you get on for it though, Nixie, as well. Considering Delict as a Gabriel replacement, don't hate Delict. I do just wonder though, like, are we overplaying the Man United defense? They haven't been brilliant defensively all season. Like, what's their XGC per 90? 1.52. Delict isn't bad on DEFCON. I mean, he's only hit it a few times, but he's never far away, and his minutes have been very secure. The fixtures are good. I think just at 5 million, if you've not got someone like Lacroix, I'd prefer Lacroix. But that, like, I would say that because I'm looking at him as an option. I don't mind Delict, but I don't know if I've seen enough yet of Man United defensively to convince me to invest 5 million in one of their defenders. That would be my only thing. Maybe in a couple of weeks they turn a corner, look a little bit more solid at the back, and I change my mind though. That is absolutely viable. Good evening, Sam. Hey, Keith, how's it going? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're well. Would you play a Palace defender over a Brentford striker? I wonder which Brentford striker that is. Yeah, Thiago, of course. I think I would play the would I play the Palace defender? Depends which Palace defender, I suppose. I think I might play Munoz over Thiago. That's a real head scratcher, to be fair. There's not much in it between those two. I think I'd go for the Palace defender, dependent on which Palace defender. I think Munoz I'd play over him. Yeah, maybe not Richards, although maybe that's just pricey bias. Maybe that's just bias because he's a bit cheaper. His DEFCON's actually been very good. Yeah, I think I would chance it on the Crystal Palace defense. I think most of them are good on the DEFCON, good odds of a clean sheet. Thiago's not a bad option this week by any means, and he has penalties, but away from home, yeah, I think I might chance it against Thiago. There's also, I hate doing this part because it sounds like I'm just such a defensive manager, but there is an ownership factor in this. The Crystal Palace defence is very well owned. They've got about a 100% effective ownership. the Brentford striker, Thiago, I'm assuming in this case, will have 15 to 20% effective ownership. If he does well, it will not punish you that much. If Crystal Palace defence does well and you don't have coverage, it could really be punishing. So if it's a 50-50 like that, you could attack the risk, and that might be the other way of playing it. But I would look at it as it's early in the season. I think Palace defense is very viable. I'd probably go there. Last week with Thiago and Saka was the last straw. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, already on triple Palace and have Arsenal defense covered. Yeah, fair enough. In that case, De Ligt would come into my thoughts. Maybe Senesi if you've not got him as well at that price. I don't know if you've got Senesi, but yeah, De Ligt, if you've already got the Arsenal defence covered and triple Palace, then yeah, that is fair enough. I understand the context now, Nobby. Can you do one player to haul, one player to blank this week for me? Oh, tough one. One player to haul, Salah. So annoying, I know. I'm sorry. One player to blank. One player to blank. That's horrible. Kudus. I'll go Kudus. Yeah, I'll go Kudus to blank this week. Because he's 50-50 anyway, right? Gahey's ownership is very high. It's like 40-50% EO, which is quite punishing, especially because he keeps getting random assists and stuff. I say random. He's up for the corners, he's up for the set pieces, and he is getting the flick-ons from the throw-in. So it's not random, but you get what I mean. For the first time, I've caught up with the chat. For the first time all stream. So yeah, I've done it. I've actually achieved it. That never happens. But yeah, thank you all so much for your questions as well. I will wait around for a few more minutes to see if there are any more questions that come in. I suppose I better ask for a like and a subscribe. If you're not doing that, I'm going to quickly hover over. What am I on? 4,931. I've got 69 to go. Funny number. 69 to go before 5k. I'm clearly not going to get there today, but Oscar, if you're still watching and you want to give me a helping hand here, by the way, just saying. But if you are watching, if you've enjoyed it, I would massively appreciate it. I would love to get to 5k before Christmas. That is my goal. I would love to get there, and I do appreciate each and every one of you that does tune in, watch, even if you're not subscribed. I do still massively appreciate you. Thank you very much. But yeah, hopefully before Christmas we can get that number up past 5k. I don't know if is it live updating? I think it is live updating. But yeah, going has been tough in the last couple of weeks because it's international break. It always is. Yeah, thank you, Oscar. I have actually noticed you subscribed before. Sorry about that. I have noticed. I think you're my biggest subscriber. You know, I don't know if Ross, Harry, any of them do. But yeah, I think you're my most followed subscriber. I will tell everyone to go subscribe to Focal as well, but I'm sure all of you in the chat already do. But yeah, thank you all so much. The other thing I should ask before I go is, who are we all captaining? I'm assuming most of us are still out of fear going Haaland. I mean, I've got Saka in my team. I'm buying Bruno most likely, so I could go against him. I just don't know if I've seen enough from anyone to confidently back against Haaland in the form he's in. So I think I'm still on Haaland. If I had Salah, I would probably captain Salah. But given that I don't, I still think I am on... Who is Focal? Yeah, right. I think I still am. I think I still am on Haaland. Captain Cunha. Very good. Very good. I mean, look at the four. I mean, these are just insane numbers. I don't know if I can back against him, you know. Yeah, I think I'm going Haaland. Let me know in the chat what you're thinking as well. But yeah. Cool. Any other questions in the chat before we go? Just going to check before. No. Coyote or Truffert more long-term for Juve? I think Truffert, probably. Coyote's got some decent fixtures coming, though. Is very good if you're not free hitting in game week 13, by the way. But the fixtures either side not great. 3 away games and not highly playable in those weeks. I would go true fair, I think. Captain Cunha, Captain Haaland. Haaland hasn't scored double digits away since Wolves. That it's just one of those one of those things, isn't it? It's the same as like Saka hadn't scored a double-digit haul since last November, then he does it, and it's like, oh, now he's only scored 1 since last November. Like, these records are meant to be broken. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, he's only played a limited amount of games. He's scored plenty of goals. Like, even if he's not got a double-digit return, he scored against Brighton, he scored against Arsenal, he scored against Brentford. And scored again. Well, that was home as well. So missed against Villa, fair. But I don't think he tells himself like, oh, I'm only going to score 1 and I'm incapable of getting a second big chance away. I think it's just one of those like twists of fate. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Newcastle plays very high up, similar to Bournemouth, very good for Haaland. Yeah, I do like Haaland against the higher line. I do wonder if Newcastle will drop in a little bit because of the fixture. Because Eddie Howe can be quite pragmatic at times, but equally, I don't think it will really matter all that much. I just think Haaland and City are in that sort of form where, I mean, 60% of the chances or 60% of the XG is filtering Haaland's way. Gabriel is injured, yes. Gabriel is out for a while, Nixie, so I would not be captaining Gabriel. Last question, help please. Sato, I can't see your question. But yeah, I don't know if you're still typing. Senesi, sneaky good captaincy option 2. I don't know about captaincy for me, but he's a good option. I do like him a lot this week. Go back over to Solo, 4.8 expected points. He's decent. I'm very happy to own him. I've done Reinders and Ndai to Minter and Bruno Fernandes. Love those moves. Love them. No notes whatsoever. Very, very good moves. Maybe Mbermo could be a cheeky captaincy punt. Yeah, don't hate it. Good upside. Can see him hauling. It can happen. Don't mind it. Not playing my wild card yet. Would you play it in game week 16? I haven't seen anything specifically about 16 to play it, but I don't hate it in game week 16. Also, don't mind it in game week 13 either, potentially, maybe 14. I think at this point, because we're running out of weeks a little bit, I would just check to see which week you're which week you're naturally looking. So pretend you didn't have a wild card left. Which week are you naturally making the most free transfers to your team to optimize it, and probably target that as a rough outline for now. Score prediction. I hate score predictions. Score prediction for North London derby. I'll go 2-0 Arsenal. I don't think they'll batter Spurs, and Spurs will keep it relatively tight, but I do think Arsenal will come away with a win. I could see Spurs scoring. I could see it being 2-1, but I think I'll back Arsenal for the clean sheet still, 2-0. Free hit drafts. I'm not going to read them all out, but I will quickly evaluate Sato. I would go probably 1, 2, 3... What would I do there? I think draft A. Although James might be a bit of a risk. Draft A, just about, I think. Not much in it, though. Senesi captain, but lost 4-0 last week. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, these random occurrences do happen. I mean, Bournemouth, if you look at the underlying data of that game, arguably got a bit unlucky to concede 4. But yeah, it doesn't feel good captaining Senesi after losing 4-0, granted. Just means they're due. Yeah, they could be. Clean sheet DEFCON goal, 17 points. Yep. Wait, model saying Haaland isn't the best cap. No, it's not. I still like him for cap though. I mean, there are different models. I use Solio. I love Solio, but yeah, I mean, Haaland 5.9, 6.2, 6.1 for Saka and Bruno. Not much in it. I think, is it Salah comes out top, 6.4. There's less than half a point between all of the top options. That, for me anyway, is within the realms of all of them are sensible, pick your favourite. That's how I interpret that. There's not enough between them to be a clear winner. So yeah, I think I'm going Haaland. Cheeky bit of FPL on my work break from Bryce there. Thank you very much. 3 flags and 2 transfers. Semenyo or Enzo most likely to start. I think both of them will probably play, honestly. Enzo has been cleared fit, so you might need to refresh the app because his flag has been removed. And Enzo Maresca mentioned earlier on that he's fine. Does that mean he plays 90? Probably not. I still think he gets brought off a little bit early to conserve for Barcelona in the midweek, then Arsenal after that. But I do think he starts. Semenyo is a doubt. So if you're transferring one of them out, Semenyo is probably the more important one to transfer out. I'm personally not selling either of them, and I think both of them start. That would be my guess. That being said, I've got a good first bench option if Semenyo doesn't start, so I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And I'm comfortable with Anderson coming off my bench. I'll go over to my transfers here quickly to show you. Anderson coming off my bench in case Semenyo doesn't start is a nice safety net for me, hence why I'm not too worried about it. Solio model hates forwards. Does it? Let me have a look. I don't know if it hates forwards. I think it's just that midfielders get their extra point for the goal, right? And clean sheet point and DEFCON potential. So forwards just have less routes to points. So they basically just have to get attacking returns to get anything, which is what limits the upside. And even when they get the goals, they only get 4 points rather than 5. So the clutch thing to do in FPL is get midfielders who score a ton of goals because you get the extra points for it. They might get the odd clean sheet. They might get the odd DEFCON. So yeah, I don't know if they hate forwards, but like I do agree that, and I don't think this is a Solio thing. I think this is just a game thing. Like if you look at the top point scoring forwards last year, there aren't that many. There isn't like a big pool of them that get 180 points plus. Midfielders, there's quite a few more that hit that kind of territory without you even thinking of it. Like there's a number of like unfashionable-ish forwards who hit 150 plus, not anywhere near as many in the forward section because midfielders have those unsexy routes to points that they just accumulate without people really noticing. So yeah, I think all models kind of bake that in, hence why it looks like they hate them. But yeah, I wouldn't say they hate forwards. One question, how important is being nailed? In other words, how many less points does Konate get than Van Dijk over the next 10 game weeks? Okay, I'll answer the 2 questions separately. Being nailed at this point of the season is more important than any other because I think I've got a few more questions I need to answer in a minute, but being nailed is very important this time of year. Having a good bench is also important, and it might mean that you can carry 1 or 2 players that might get rotated every now and then. But if you've got a full 11 of players that are 90-minute men that aren't ever getting rotated, you've just got that security. It means you can use your transfers more aggressively and on things that you want to do rather than having to react to fires every single week because, oh no, I don't know if this player's going to start, etc., etc. Konate I don't think Konate's the same in the sense that I don't think he's not nailed. I think Konate is nailed until he's injured. But Konate's injury record is a bit patchy. So that would be the thing that puts me off Konate. I think he's nailed in the traditional sense that he's their best other centre-back and he'll play 90 minutes almost every single week as long as he's able. But out of the 2, which one do I see breaking down or more likely to break down? I think Konate is, and therefore I would probably spend the extra money on Van Dijk. Given he's better on DEFCON anyway, I would probably spend the extra money. Christopher says, I think Solio underrates the amount of bonus points forwards get. I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't checked it myself, but it's possible. Yeah, I talk to the Solio guys a lot, so I'll ask them the question how they weigh up the bonus points for different players. But yeah, it's possible. I don't personally think that they're far off with the ratings, but you know, we can interpret it different, and the beauty of Solio is you can kind of fiddle with the numbers yourself a little bit to make the model work for you. So yeah, fair enough. Completely valid point. What does clutch mean? Clutch means what does clutch mean? It's hard to. Should we Webster's dictionary? Hang on, it'll come up with like a gear stick, won't it? Yeah, it will. Hang on. No, I do not want the cookies. Yes, like kind of seizing an opportunity, I suppose, would be the crucial. Yeah, that's probably the best. Yeah, a clutch hit, a clutch pitcher. Yeah, made or done in a crucial situation. Hopefully that suffices. Yeah, basically like coming in clutch would be the way I use it. Yeah, it is also a type of handbag. Not in this scenario, but yeah, it is also a type of handbag and also useful to have in a car. On that note, I think we've exhausted all of the serious questions and I need to start thinking about dinner. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Whilst I do, I'm going to quickly go over to how many subscribers I got. Yeah, I need to get a few more. Yeah, 68 to go. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Massive good luck to all of you in Game Week 12. I wish you all the best. I will get a free hit video made next week for Game Week 13 free hitters. I've got my first ever collaboration next week, so tune in for that and keep guessing who that might be with. And yeah, good luck. I'll see you all next week. Do please hit like and subscribe on your way out. And yeah, I will see you probably Sunday evening will be my first video of the week, maybe Monday morning, depending on how the timings come out. But see you all very soon. Massive good luck. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday evening. And yeah, thanks again. See you in a bit.